And she's back with part 2 with Denise. I think it's Denise. I'm already forgetting names. It's been like an hour, so I apologize. Okay, so the fourth question is, your technique was to start a progesterone cream massage and then to pump to get the temporarily swelling, and if that swelling stayed in your follicular phase, you counted it as permanent real growth, but if it didn't stick, then you considered it as luteal temporary swelling. Is that correct? Okay, like on the days that I had to rotate my progesterone, because mind you, it's for thin-skinned areas for application, unless you're taking it like internally, which would be something like Prometrium prescribed by the doctor, which I couldn't handle because I would just want to puke. I think it was the peanut oil. I don't know what it was. I was allergic to something. It was not good. So I would just insert it vaginally, which is typical for women in their first trimester to keep their progesterone in check, because that baby's got to stay in the oven, right? So I would do it either vaginally or topically, but that's the bio-compounded one. So if you're talking about the progesterone cream, the over-the-counter kind, I used Progestel, which you can get on Amazon. I don't know if they still sell it. I think they still sell it. That's a good, I don't know if they still sell it. It's been so long, but it's like an oil, and I used that. That was my favorite over the counter over everything. And then I also use Kokoro brand, which is Japanese. It's like a $40 progesterone, but a lot of women use Emerita and found that it was just fine. That's like your cheaper. I don't know how much it is, but it can't be any more than $19. So the over the counter, you're gonna do the same thing, thin skin areas. On the days that I would rotate, I made sure that I put it in different areas of the breast. Every other day I was pumping. 35 minutes or so, that was like my thing every other day. I could not pump every day. I would not retain swelling that way. And you're just going to find that something is going to work best for you is not going to work best for somebody else. And that's okay. So find what works best for you. Now, I didn't necessarily count the swelling, whether I got it or not, like, oh, I'm gonna grow or it's gonna stick around, because I've had some really funky issues with having like really good swelling, and then all of a sudden it's like, boom, there's no growth, or it's so small I couldn't tell. And then there were times where I wouldn't get swelling, and then I would see the accumulation. And that's what you want to look for, the accumulation. So, I mean, a technique, I don't know, sure, why not? It was just something that I felt comfortable with, sticking with, being consistent with. It's all about consistency. So I would put just little tiny dabs around the breast, not a whole lot, and then I would put whatever oil that I was massaging with, and then I would pump. And by the time it stayed, like, let's see, if it stuck around day 11, then I knew, okay, this was more likely permanent. Because, it could be like a whole 7 days into your new cycle, and then all of a sudden the swelling will go down. Whatever you had last, luteal phase, it's gone down. So you don't want to be like, oh, by day 3 or by day 5, I'm good. No, everyone's different. Sometimes you'll notice all of a sudden whatever you thought you accumulated is gone by day 11 or 12, which is weird because it's right before the peak. So it has to like stick around for like a good whole cycle, in my opinion, to count it as like growth. Temporary swelling, yeah, I mean, you can always see like when it goes down, like, okay, that obviously was temporary swelling. How did you use to measure your breasts? Flat measuring tape. I don't know if I have it. Flat measuring tape around the bust, but I would go over and then measure the biggest part of the bust. So flat tape measure around your biggest part of your bust. And that's how I would measure it. So yeah, bend over, scoop all your meat out. And it fluctuates, you guys. Like, you're gonna see, like, I just took my measurement yesterday, and why is it so different? Or I just took it an hour ago, why is it already different? Because if you're built like this, which most of us naturally are, you know, it just depends where you put that flat tape measure. So just try to be consistent. Unless you have marks on your body, you're not gonna be able to tell. So you can't always count that as, of course, it has to happen. You can't always count that as in a very accurate way. The only way you can count it as accurate is just you're growing out of your cups. Grow out of your cups. Tightness in the bras. If your band is still the same and your cups are spilling over, you're growing. How can I tell if this is my true size? Do I need to measure it during my follicular phase? Okay, sounds like you're kind of obsessive compulsive about the measuring. Don't worry about that. What I would say is, if you're growing and you're slowly, like, let's say you have one growth spurt throughout your whole program, which is very typical. The lucky ones get like 2 to 3 growth spurts, and they can tell right away, like within a cycle, that whole cycle has passed and it's stuck around. Like, they're like, breasts are hurting, feeling all sorts of sensations, can't sleep on your breast, it's just so tender, and you obviously grew out of your bra. Like, those women are so blessed to have those. I only had 2 growth spurts during my program, like the 3rd month and then the 5th month, 5.5 month, and then that was it. I didn't have any other growth spurts or signs or, you know, sensations. And what I felt was the slowly accumulated fat cells over the months. I could tell over a period of 3 months, I saw the accumulation of that last bit that grew, okay, which was like a final cup. So I had to stop being super focused on the tape measure, especially since my body frame is like this, going towards the under bust. I was never going to really get an accurate measure. Yeah, you're not going to get super accurate measurements. Does keeping regular exercise, running in particular, every single day will make me lose some boobage in the future? I gained 1.5 pounds in the midsection due to 3 months of using the BO and decided to exercise every day. I'm not a fan of cardio, but if you've got your midsection you're gaining, because what most likely happens is those of us who are trying to grow our breasts, not just balance hormones, but like have that neat side effect of growing the breasts, what's going to happen? That's our last in. So when you gain weight, it's going to go to your first in, which is either your butt, your thighs, your stomach. Heck, it could be your arms, it could be your double chin. You're going to need to drive that circulation up to the breast. So keep massaging, but don't think that you have to massage every single day or for super long periods of time. Just do the best that you can. And stop the cardio once you've lost the uncomfortable amount of weight that you do not want. But just do strength training, and if you're running, do a combination of like run walk, and for no more than 20 minutes. That's all you really need, 3 times a week to run. Cycling, the difference between cycling and then running, choose one. If you're bottom heavy and it's going to your midsection and your thighs, do the indoor cycling until it slims down where you want it to be. And then just do like a maintenance, and try not to do too much of it. Get a bit of swelling after pumping, which doesn't last long. How do I know if I had enough good swelling? No idea how much I need to swell. If your prolactin levels are preventing you from swelling, like i.e. your prolactin stores, like you still have some milk, or you're still making milk, or you're lactating, or you just went through a pregnancy, 6 months ago, chances are you're not getting swelling because of that. So check your prolactin levels, make sure that you're not storing milk or, creating milk, because that's what's going to keep you from getting any swelling, getting any growth, having your progesterone balance out the way it needs to be, peaking when it needs to be during your cycle. It's a prolactin issue. If they feel like water balloons, it's a prolactin issue most likely. You should feel firm, and you should get some swelling, and it's okay if it goes down. It's okay if it doesn't last. It's fine. Sorry for the amount of questions. Stay healthy, Walla. Well, you're welcome, and I hope this helps you out. So I guess I'll see you ladies later. Toodles!